Steve Avery is the membership director for Newfoundland and Labrador Institute. He's also a strong operation professional with extensive experience in data analysis, SAP, ERP, contract management, financial reporting and planning, budgeting and forecasting. He holds a Bachelor of Commerce focused in finance honors from Memorial University of Newfoundland and is currently a strategic planner for Central Regional Health Authority in Newfoundland. Steve, if you can take it up and let us know a little bit about your experience and what the designation means to you. Thank you.
Absolutely. How exciting. We have people from all over Canada here. This is going to be great. Just real quick housekeeping items. I got 2 giant dogs and 1 tiny baby. So if they're vocal throughout this, that's the realities of working from home, and welcome to my life. So we'll go on this little journey together. I got some notes made that I can follow along to discuss. I might go a little bit off script. I'm pretty amped to be talking to you about the SCMP program today. Very passionate about this program. I think this is a great opportunity to share my experience. I'm currently involved with the NL Institute at the board level as Western Regional Representative in Newfoundland and Membership Director. And I want to start by saying I love this program. I think you guys got a really great opportunity here with recognition of prior learning. I want to approach my little speech now with kind of 3 perspectives avenues, which is how I arrived at the SCMP program, the actual courses and the workload associated with that, and the immediate benefits, and then the takeaways that'll come after you either complete your courses or ultimately your designation. I'm given kind of free rein to discuss my experience, so I'm prepared to give you the honest, good, bad, and ugly. Spoiler is almost all good. Just wanted to take the opportunity to lay it all out for you. Quick rundown of me, BCom done, Mon 2009. Always knew I wanted to follow further educational pursuits. Mulled over my options, various designations or paths to follow, just wasn't quite sure at that time. Considered my master's, CPA, project management courses, not knocking any of those at all, but I kept leaning towards SCMP. On my work terms, I was involved with contract management, and a lot of the work carried a considerable scope associated with supply chain. Additionally, the courses I did in my undergraduate degree that was related to supply chain were my favorite. Those and finance. Future was in my hands, but it was up in the air. I didn't immediately follow my undergrad with further educational pursuits. I almost waited a decade, but I wanted some hands-on experience and then make a decision. Now, I always responded really well towards having a mentor in a work environment, whether assigned or not. I gravitate towards people that either work alongside me, above me, could be below you, that you can take key learnings from, adapt my approach, learn from, monitor, develop as a working professional. So on one work term, had this manager, loved the guy, respected him, looked up to him, looked at the letters at the end of his name, SCMP. I knew about the program, asked him about it, he raved about it, said it opened up a lot of doors for him. So I thought, there might be something to this. So I was working oil and gas as soon as I finished my degree, uprooted everything, moved to New Zealand, Australia for a few years. While I was in New Zealand, I was involved with ordering and warehousing of outdoor venture, clothing and apparel for a large retail brand. And when I was in Oz, I worked with the Department of Finance, but I was specifically assigned somewhat tangentially to capital purchasing for schools and healthcare facilities, which helped me later in life, in very rural locations. So I really started to consider the program at this point. The aspiration never left. I was also considering law school, started studying for the LSAT, got several weeks into that, and thought, I live in Australia, what am I doing? So I dropped the LSAT prep test and I said goodbye to the bar and hello to beachside bars. Moved back to NL, worked more oil and gas, more finance, but I really enjoyed the work I did associated with the scheduling crowd, the contracts management division. So it was time for me to act. Take a little trip now on the way back machine to the distant past year of our Lord, 2016. Back simpler times back then. Used to have to walk 5 kilometers to school, uphill both ways, snowstorm. People had rotary phones and beloved actor Will Smith was celebrating the accolades associated with his portrayal in the film Concussion. A guy could do no wrong back then. And I began my SCMP journey. Now, I think this is important. I'm half a keener. I did quite well in school. And part of me thought, you know what, I'm going to pick up this program right where I left off my degree, get great grades, breeze through the majority of this content. Nope. The very first module took me for a ride. My very first case study, I tanked. Immediately, I was impressed by the course structure, the layout, the content, not too impressed by the syllabus and the amount of work required. I say that in jest, but it was serious from day one. No one's hiding anything from you. It's an intense workload. I'm not trying to deter anybody with that, but I want to stress this is not a designation mill. You're not going to pay your money and voila, a designation arrives 3 years later in the mail with little effort. That first assignment back, not what I was used to getting, to say the least. Two things stood out. It was a case study involving the textile industry, not something I particularly care about at all, but I was immediately intrigued by the aspect of problem solving. And this will be constant throughout all the cases you do. In this program, you're not given a simple issue on a silver platter and then regurgitating a pre-learned response, go back in your slides and tie A and B together. You have to apply critical thinking. You've got to identify the issues yourself. You're given the tools to do this, but it's not clearly define what you have to do. You have to come up with potential solutions, weigh the pros and cons. It's very in-depth, but I love the challenge. I knew I could do better, strove to improve, the other immediate thing that was constant throughout the rest of the program was the level of feedback that your instructors are going to provide you with. You will be told where you lost your marks, how they were deducted, where to improve upon your responses, and the need for further elaboration. It truly seemed like there was a vested interest from the instructors regarding my progression and my development. Continued throughout the entire program. I truly believe the level of involvement, concern, quality of education is second to none. I'm not going to go through every single module and workshop, obviously, but I just want to take this opportunity to convey the high level of instruction and the quality of the material. I changed jobs 3 times throughout the duration of my SCMP studies. The one constant, one thing I'd laser beam focus on was achieving my designation. I could see how each module was contributing to my professional development and my understanding, and I just kept with it. As I said, each module is going to present you with a combination of mini cases and full-blown case studies. My recommendation to all of you is learn how to prepare a structured response to both, but focus on the major case studies. These are going to be present throughout each module, and they're critical to the final exam. That's worth big 40%, big marks towards your overall weighted score. It's broke down into executive summary, issues identification, root cause analysis, alternatives and options, recommendation, and monitor and control. Just to circle back to the consistency of the and the quality of the instructors. Quick example, case study number 1 that I mentioned, struggled with, as I mentioned, feedback was given in detail. The one I struggled with most, monitor and control. It was my recommendations weren't quite there. Monitor control involves determination of successful implementation, key metrics, measurements, analytics, determining when, if you should pull the plug on your proposal after 6 months, a year, what determines success. My deficiencies were highlighted. I didn't really focus on this portion because it's weighted a little bit less. So I applied my resources elsewhere, worked on the parts worth more marks. So I don't know if I should admit this to a panel of my peers or not, but I continued with that approach throughout more modules and always neglected. This is the last portion to appear. You're experiencing a little bit of burnout. I was always tired by the time I got to monitor control. To me, it was always fine. The feedback that I got every module with different instructors, they have different backgrounds, they're located in different parts across Canada, all the same. They all highlighted the same deficiencies that I had and all recommended slightly different, but responses on how I could improve. It took me like 5 modules for me to actually listen and incorporate their recommendations before I got full marks for the monitor and control portion. But that really impressed me to see that nobody was dropping the ball at any point in my educational pursuit. Everybody had similar, concise, related feedback. Throughout modules, you're presented with a vast variety of circumstances about extenuating situations, No two cases are going to be alike. You have to don your thinking cap, you have to dig deep into the potential issues and probable solutions, and you have to draw connections through a fully flushed out analysis, problem identification, as I mentioned before, presenting multiple solutions. This is all on you. It's incredible. You're given kind of freedom to interpret these cases as you would. You got to commit to a solution, provide the methods of determining your success and contingency plans. It's pretty intense. Throughout the modules, you'll be actively engaged with your peers. This is one of my favorite parts, was the forum discussions. You're going to be encouraged to draw on your own experiences, share with other members. It's an awesome avenue to gather new insight and application. It's going to be monitored by the instructors, and you know that your entire field of your peers are reviewing with different backgrounds. You're going to be analyzing and digesting your posts. You get inspired to pick up your game, and there's some really good dialogue that occurs. I've had some detailed agreements and arguments via the discussion forums as a very important aspect of your learnings. The workshops, great opportunity to converse with skilled professionals, ally your peers, while being led with incredible instructors who had their fingers on the pulse of supply chain methodologies. Loved the workshops. Always felt like there was an onslaught of knowledge and discussion, but you're balancing your academic content with the opportunity to learn directly from others and their unique industry perspectives you're probably not going to be otherwise privy to. You take along your experience, they share it as well. It's a melting pot of backgrounds, a lot of different work experience, borderline overload to the senses in a good way. You come away with new ideas, well-rounded understanding of challenges that face other people, not just yourself within the province. I want to talk about, as I mentioned, the takeaways. The strategic thinking and problem solving, you're going to drive methods and approaches that can be applied directly to your day-to-day work environment. It's not stuff you're going to file away and not think about again, like trigonometry. You're going to actually take this material, it's relevant, the discussions are current, and you can apply that knowledge to your work environment immediately upon going back to work. Two examples I can think of, workshop related, are the communication relations skills workshop and a competitive bidding contract prep management workshop. With the communications, we discussed methods of addressing a particular audience. I immediately, there was a project we were working on related to the rollout of an elementary school engagement program that never quite got off the ground. I applied the techniques learned in that class immediately upon returning to work, and it became success. The other one was regarding contract management. Workshop, I was involved with ongoing contract negotiations between two organizations, took strategies, tactics discussed in the classroom, applied them direct. Full disclosure, I didn't actually get to see that one through to completion. I had to leave the organization, but I like to think that a groundwork was set based on the experience that I had with the workshop. I guess some advice to any prospective students related to the workload. Your time management skills are going to be put to the test here. If you want to get out of the program as much as you possibly can, my friends, some may say that I'm pretty frugal. I prefer to think that I'm value conscious. I had to pay for the entirety of this program that ain't free out of my own pocket. No recognition of prior learning or reimbursement from my employer. If you can get that, diddly, get it. Wanted to get as much extracted from every course offering that I could. This involves sacrifice, time, and energy. I treated it like a job. On weeks, big assignments were due. Sundays started pretty early, finished around supper time. Again, not trying to deter you, just hitting you with facts. Was super fortunate to have a very supportive partner, now my fiance, who understood how important this program was to me. And she'd pick up my slack around the house when I drop it. In like a minute, I'm gonna get to a short story about how great the support she was. Also, next thing, read all the cases. Read the content, read the instructions, walk away, digest it, read it again, and then probably read it again. This helped me immensely. Sometimes it can take 45 minutes to get through with all the appendices and whatnot. That's part of your time commitment and time management. Allocate a lot towards this. And then when you write your paper, proofread it, have someone else cast eyes on it, walk away, proofread it again. Scenario I alluded to before, experienced a bit of burnout, wrote one as quick as I could, went to my fiance, said, I'm done. Can I go outside and play? And she said, you're done already? I said, yeah, it's good enough. And then she said, good enough is not good enough. go back, apply a little bit more effort, please. And what I had wrote sucked. I'm no Billy Shakespeare, but when I sat down and reread what I had done, didn't cut the mustard. So I sat my keister down, upped my effort, gave it more than that old college try. And when I reread my submission after admitted hours of work, damn pleased myself. And the American term reflected a paper that was superb. The in-residency component, sad report, as was mentioned, I didn't get to do it in person. It was scheduled my year for Toronto. I thought that'd be wild to go up to the big city and meet some peers and have great discussions. However, it was the first year it was conducted online, pandemic. Solid format, all things considered. Really well put off, and I think I had strong takeaways. The final exam gave me a bit of anxiety going into it, just because it's weighted so significantly in your overall mark. I'm confident if you can master the case analysis, that structure that I mentioned before, and you will, you're going to have to, because to get to this point, you're going to be doing a lot of them. And if you take as much away from the in-residency as you possibly can, no one's going to have any issues. It's old hat by this point. You've written 40. Watch one more. It's just one more paper written in one day. Enjoy it. I had a real sense of excitement and accomplishment the whole time I was writing it, like super giddy, very exhilarating. Take it all in. And I was pretty amped for a few days after completing it. I knew I did a great job. I knew I was getting my designation. Very rewarding, super keen experience. Finally, I was asked to just mention on the continuing professional development component associated. It's a maintenance component once you get your SCMP. You got everything in the rear view mirror. You got your designation sitting on your mantle. There is a concrete expectation that you're going to remain involved with the supply chain discipline through the possession of your designation. Do not let this be a deterrent at all. Wonderful opportunity to stay abreast of current issues within supply chain and contribute both to the field and your own professional development. And you can achieve it in a variety of ways. There's ample opportunities to receive these credits. You can do it by attending virtual presentations, being a speaker. All of this one, I think I'm getting like 5 CPD points out of 30 just for doing this. I hope so. I should have said 7. You can attend social events sanctioned by the local institute, publish an article, read a related book. There's lots of opportunities. It's not a deterrent, and it's a great way for continued personal growth, and you get to advance the designation at the same time. It contributes to lifelong learning. Simultaneously, it helps SCMP present professional designation holders as current, knowledgeable, up-to-date, engaged members of the supply chain community. And finally, current position of strat planner with sourcing contracts, central health, as was mentioned. I'm confident that achieving my designation was a strong mitigating factor in me obtaining the role. The skills gained throughout this program really paralleled the requirements of the role. And I'm super fortunate, man. I get to work alongside a great team. They're all subject matter experts, and I get to contribute to the position as well. So that's my experience with the SCMP program.